Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I am going to continue doing something using week 3 from the Freebie in the Sunshine and Doors, Sunflowers and Doors Facebook group. She has these. There are 3 pages in each of them, and she has these little, almost like file folders. So I thought that they would be really cute, made into almost like a journal cover, or a little folio of some kind. So this is from week 1, and then she also has another one in week 3 with a different goldfish on it, or, well, a goldfish. This one is not a goldfish, it's just a fish, a fishy fish. So I did glue these to a little bit of cardboard. It's just like a cracker box, that kind of thing. And then I rounded the corners with a corner rounder. Tried to trim it nicely, but got a bit of grunge on it. And I did that in advance just so that it was done before I got here. I am going to put a little bit of ink around it. I'm going to put some Uncharted Mariner around the edges, just to kind of cover up the fact that it went a little bit grungy when I tried to cut it. And also the fact that I didn't cut it very well. There's that too. And I'm not going to put that much ink around it. I don't want it to be too inky. Just a little bit. And I think that that kind of covers the white. Now the next thing I want to do is do something with the eyes. I thought what Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors, what she did with the eyes was so amazingly cool. So I'm not going to do anything like that, but I am going to try to do something. And I need a piece of paper for, I'm going to use embossing powder. I've got gold. These are both WOW. I have metallic gold rich pale. And I just bought this on the weekend. It's called Twiggy. And it's also WOW. And it looks like it's kind of a rusty reddish brown. And I thought that might be really cool for the inside of the eye. I just grabbed a piece of paper that's on my desk, so that when I put the embossing powder on it, I can dump it back into the little container. I'm going to use a Versamarker. It's by VersaFine. They make StazOn ink and the VersaFine ink. And it's got 2 ends. One is quite almost like a felt tip pen that's kind of smooshy. And then a tiny nubby one, like a blunt tip felt pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the pen and just draw inside the eyeball. I don't always have a lot of luck with this, so I'm not sure how well it's going to work. And then oh, I like the color of that. That is nice. twigs, which is, you know, interior of eyeballs. Oh, poor blind little fishies. Yeah, that looks like it adhered really nicely. And there as well. And then it looks like I got no embossing powder on the small one, some on the medium one for this one, and not too bad on the big one. But on this one, I got none on the medium, some on the small one, and very little on the big one. So I'm going to try again. I find this with embossing powder that it winds up all over my desk and not very much on where I want it. Oh, that's the gold one. That's later. I think that worked a little bit better. I find it really interesting how much this little piece of cardboard is warping with putting embossing powder on there. Now what I want to do is use the marker and go around the rim of the eye. Like so. And perhaps around like so. And like so. I'm going to do these one at a time this time. Get the twiggy off my piece of paper before I put the gold on there, so that when I pour the gold into my container, it doesn't go all brown. That doesn't have a center, so I'm just going to use my fingernail and try to get a little bit out of the center of that. Well, now he has a big, like, blob. This one didn't turn out too badly. I kind of like that one. So I think I won't put it on the little one. I will only put it on the big one. And try to put a little bit less. Just a tiny bit less. I think that already looks better. I like that one better. And I do kind of like the fact that I left that off, but I kind of do want a rim around the eye. So a gel pen. This is a Sakura. The color is that. I don't know what the color is. Perhaps this XPGB705, maybe 37952. It's a color. It's kind of a bronzy color. That worked. So that gives it a little bit of a shimmer, but it doesn't overwhelm it the way that the gold overwhelmed that. What happens if we Well, that's, I don't know that that would work, but. Now the next thing I want to do is put some seaweed in front of the fishies. So I took some die cuts, just basically a bunch that I had, sprayed them with, what did I spray them with? I sprayed them with Uncharted Mariner and it would have been Speckled Egg. I know I was looking at an ink, but I have similar colors in my Distress Oxides as I do in my inks. These are not seaweed, they're just flower things. And I figure there's no right or wrong. Try to keep that off the fish's face. That would be wrong. I take that back. There would be a right and wrong. And I'm just going to glue them on. I often will cut my die cuts out of magazine pages. I think it gives added interest, especially if the text shows up. But I did this one that I sprayed. I just laid them out on my on a piece of paper and sprayed them with the Distress sprays. I could have been more careful to make sure that I got the text part, but I was just not being that careful with it. Kind of want that face to show. Yeah. These are from the Tim Holtz, one of the wildflower dies. I can't remember which one it is. I've got 3 of the sets. And it looks a little bit like seaweed. And this is, oh, maybe this one isn't, this one is. And I really like this. It almost looks like seaweed as well. I hope you guys are all doing well. And yeah, staying healthy and all of that. put that kind of over top of that streak of blue. Pardon my arm and my Craft-A-Lanch. Get those out of the way. I shut my window so you couldn't hear anything outside while I was filming, and it is getting so hot in here. Which is a bit surprising because we had a thunderstorm yesterday which cooled it off considerably, but it's still pretty warm out there. If you do die cuts, don't be afraid to put them upside down. This is upside down, that's right side up. Oh, but I like that. I like that with that little shimmer. Very much like that with that little shimmer. Might put that one on here. And then I don't have to cut it. Yeah. And bit like so. Do we make his eye look a little less weird? More. Like so. And I really like these tall ones. That one like so. Just trim that off a little. And put one of these long skinny ones on there as well. If you use like die cuts and you put glue and you put too much glue on it, don't worry about it. It's like you're just going to cut it off anyway. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just have fun. Make it look like something. And if it doesn't look like something, add other things till it does look like something. One thing to keep in mind if you are layering dyes and you have multiple colors, darker colors like this will make it look like they're further back. So if you have a darker piece, put it on first and then put your lighter ones on top, and it'll help it look like it's three-dimensional when you're done. Just a little trick from having gone to art school. I could tell that to stay. That's the kind of maneuver I would make. Stay. I find that inanimate objects are notoriously bad for staying when put when you tell them to. All right, that looks a little like seaweed. Let's put some seaweed, more seaweed on this one. And then a dark one. Which I should probably have put further back than that one, but so maybe what I will do is use that one instead. And it's coming apart. And I have lots of dark on that side. I like that. That's the right side. We're gluing it upside down. Just trim that off. And then I think I got this in a set of dies off of Amazon, and they have proven to be some of my favorite dies. I do these white, these long, see if I can find one not used. These long ones, if you do them white and use them in Christmas stuff, they look like Christmas, little bits of Christmas greenery. I might not have another one of those long ones. I do there. I'm trying to avoid putting any that's not bad. Oh, I like that. Very much. It's interesting because the back side of this is kind of coppery. Not sure what that paper is or where it came from. Okay, fishes hiding in the seaweed. Move my pieces of seaweed out of the way. I might not have got enough. I thought I had enough glue on it, but it's warping a little and the glue is kind of coming off from the, yeah, I think, no, I think it's going to be okay. So now what I want to do, I'm going to want to put like a little kind of a signature in the middle, but I need a gap if I'm going to put a signature in it. Oh, I know. I was going to put washi tape, but I think I'm going to put fabric. I have all kinds of belly batiks. So, I think this one will work. I think I am going to use, pardon me while I make a mess over here, just this little section here. I could tear it, not going to tear it. Try to cut it on frame so you can actually see what I'm doing instead of cutting it basically in my lap. These little die cuts are, it's almost like they're sticky. I think, I'm trying to figure out if I want to put it that way and glue it down that way so I can see that stem has completely come off. So I'm just going to glue that back. Which reminds me that the pin wants to be in the glue, not falling all over everywhere. So I'm going to glue this right side down. I'm going to use the long line, the 9, as my, that's not very straight. That's straight on that side, not on that side. Just ignore it. And I'm going to do what I would normally not do, and I'm going to just put glue onto my cardboard and then glue straight onto the fabric, which may leave glue spots on the fabric. Normally I would use Gorilla Glue, but I don't want to go get Gorilla Glue out and fuss with it. And I'm going to line up the edge of the fabric on the bottom and then trim at the top. Stay. And then try to give that about the same amount so I've got the same gap all along. And then come back in here and put directly on my fabric, which is again something I would normally not do because of the likelihood of it leaving little glue spots. And I like this. I think that looks quite a bit like underwater. And like so. So that would work, like that little bit in the center would be completely like the spine, and then I can sew a little tiny signature along there. Trim that like so. Try to make sure that that is more or less even. I think that's all right. Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah. Now I could take, and I think I will, use that little round from my corner rounder and try to get the edge of the file folder about the same roundness. And then I can cover the inner part of this at some point in time with something. Like, there are these pockets. So for example, I think these are too big. Yeah, they're too big. But something like that might be really cute on there if I shrunk them down. The little like potential journal cover. And to me there's no up and down for that, just because the fishes go like vertically rather than horizontally. I would put it so that that was the front, not that, because that feels upside down to me. So I put it that way around. But hopefully that will give you another idea. If you're in the Sunflowers Indoors, that's her name, Sunflowers Indoors. She has a Facebook group, and that's where these digitals come from, is her Facebook group. So if you're in her Facebook group and are playing along, that might give you an idea of what you can do with the week 3 freebies. And those are the little file folders. And until next time, have a lovely crafty day. Bye.